Hi, I'm Melissa Teri. I was just interviewed by Keith Andrews. Had a wonderful time, and he's doing a great thing here, and I can't wait to come back.
The whole point of my talk show is to show you that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, so prove them and still amount to something. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew, and welcome to the last episode of the Keith Andrew Network of 2023. As this Sunday will begin a new era for the Keith Andrew Network 2024. So, what's our guest? You just heard from our recommendation. We're going to hear from her in a couple of minutes. But you know what today is? Today is Friday, and if you're a professional wrestling fan, you're a fan of AEW, WWE. Can't do AEW because I don't have any green screens. But if you like WWE, tonight is Friday Night SmackDown. Go to your Optimum. You can watch it on WWE.com, YouTube, Mix Peacock. Just go to WWE.com. And tonight is Friday Night SmackDown. What a great show that's going to be. Also tonight, it's brought to you by DVDs. It's always great to actually hold a DVD in your hand, because once the power goes out, or if there's no internet for that matter, you get a computer, you plug in a CD drive, boom, instant entertainment. It's always important to have a DVD player or a CD drive around. That's why DVDs are very important. It's nice to stream, but when you have no internet, what are you streaming? But that's besides the following is brought to you by. Today we have a great guest here on the Keith Andrew Network. As you can see on the background is a holiday episode. We're continuing that theme. So let's start off our interview. First question I want to ask you, what's the pandemic? How has that impacted your life? And do you see things in a different point of view?
Okay, that's a loaded question. I basically, the phrase started from scratch. I basically am doing that right now. I basically wound up homeless. I lost my father. I wound up in poor health, and now I'm kind of finding my way back. So yes, it changed everything.
No, I'm sorry to hear all that.
Thank you.
Well, let me ask you, a lot of people always have made a joke about saying, they wish they can work from home, they have everything at their disposal, they don't have to leave their house, they can be wink, wink, hermits. But unfortunately, now you got what you wanted. Now it's the opposite. People refuse to go back to work. People refuse to go back into the office. The economy is suffering. And for me, I go to ShopRite. The prices are out of control. You can get this tiny little thing. You would think it's kind of like, for $2-3. Now you're getting it for $5 or $6. So now they're price gouging. Do you think people are taking advantage of the pandemic? And how do you see it from your point of view?
That's a very good question. I mean, you showed me a water bottle. I thought you were going to show me a hand sanitizer bottle.
I would. I don't have one.
It's unbelievable what they're charging for a couple of ounces of hand sanitizer.
I remember I worked at Walmart, and they were hand sanitizer, Lysol, and toilet paper. And it's kind of like, you might as well buy Imodium while you're at it, right? But it's ridiculous. They shrink things. ShopRite, especially known for this. Especially, I don't care if they advertise on my show or whatever. But ShopRite, they sell pre-dated food. They price gouge you. And they shrink things down like the size of your hand. And they charge you more for it. So it's kind of like, what's going on? And you can, this is not about politics. This is not about any of the right or the left, even though that's a different story we can talk to about later. But I want to ask you, where you're from, do you see the prices being out of control? And how do you feel about price gouging?
You know what it is, though? I think we're all kind of living more so in desperation that we're just like, okay, I'm exhausted. I'm just going to take this. Whereas years ago, we would not have bought these things for these prices. So I think we're all giving into this, honestly.
No, absolutely. You know, you mentioned you're fighting your way up. We would love to hear your story.
It's quite a story. I'm currently temporarily living in a nursing home now. That's why there was an issue. Went to meet you for an interview. I'm trying to get an hour block of time where there's no interruptions. I had lost my home. My father passed away. I was living a few blocks away from ShopRite, actually, in Brooklyn. Right now I'm in Queens. I'm from Brooklyn. I've lived in Queens and Manhattan, so I've made my way around New York City, basically. I spent most of my life in Brooklyn, though. Yeah, I'm trying to feel stronger, get back on my feet again, start some auditions, try to get my life back. I was a new actress at the age of 47, actually. I know, but it's never too late to start, though. So
One request, if I may, if you can turn your camera sideways, because it cuts off side of your face.
Yeah, as you see, I'm new at this. Aside from that one Zoom on-camera acting class that I did, which was wonderful. But okay, how are we now?
No, perfect. You know, I know people.
I'm not even looking at me, I'm looking at you.
Well, that's why I wear my filter glasses, because I'm staring right at you. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're supposed to stare at the camera. Well, if I do that, I'm going to look cross-sighted. So if I hide my eyes.
I never know where to look. I never know where to look. Even when I first started submitting those audition tapes, I never knew where to look. And back then I had the tripod, so you'd think it would be easier to just actually literally slide over with my legs and everything. But no, I never got it right yet. I still have to master it.
It's a work in progress.
Sorry, I'm interrupting. Go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Actually, the directors were actually loving this form of auditions, and there were no in-person auditions anymore. That's what I was hearing, that they really went with this.
Well, anyway. That's the next question I want to ask is, you know, back, now I'm only 35, so 10 years ago, you would have to go in person to an audition. Now, going back to what we're saying about working from home, you do your video and boom, you can email it. And let's say it's 3 o'clock now, so like in half hour or an hour, you if you're lucky, get a response compared to traveling to the city, sitting in traffic for 2 hours, doing whatever you're doing. So that's another 2. Luckily, maybe they feed you. They get to go then travel backwards and wait by the phone. Time you're done, that's almost like 6, 7 o'clock at night compared to something you can do online in a positive way. It's great. But sometimes it's that in-person, the connection that we kind of lack too. But let me ask you, how do you feel? Do you prefer doing the auditions in person, or do you like doing it online?
I think I would have preferred it in person, honestly. Have fun meeting new people, and you really get to show who you. I think it's very different. I'll never get to experience that probably, but yeah, I'd go with in person. It's kind of like we're all talking more and saying less. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. You know, one thing I do want to say, if you can move center to the screen so it doesn't cut you off.
Sorry.
It's perfect.
If you have to call me back, I'm sure we'll fix all these issues. But like I said, this is my first time. I'm so sorry about that. Okay.
Oh, don't worry. You're more than welcome to be on the show anytime you would like.
So this is wonderful. This is really wonderful.
The next question I want to ask you is social media. Can social media make you or break you with everything that you accomplish in your career? Have you received opportunities from, for an example, and yes, I talk with my hands. I'm not Italian, but I talk with my hands. Bad joke, but whatever.
No, that's the stereotype, but it's a common one. I think I do that myself. I'm not Italian, but you know what? It's good to be in there, the motion with it.
You know, it's funny. When I talk to someone in person, I don't do the hands. But when I do my interview, it's kind of like I'm acting. But when I talk to you in person, I'm kind of like stiff. So it's kind of like there's a difference. But the question I want to ask you is Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, has these platforms give you opportunities to reach out to different people versus 10 years ago or 15 years ago, where you would have to do a self-audition tape, mail it, and wait God knows how long?
I think it could go either way, though. Like I said, we're talking more and saying less. We're meeting more people, but sometimes that's, a drawback. People are seeing more of you that they wouldn't see right away. It could go either way.
All right. Well, what's your opinion? And if there's some social medias I haven't mentioned, you're more than welcome to tell us. Do you audition for like Facebook groups or LinkedIn, or how do you go about networking to get?
Well, I mean, the same way I met you, I am meeting people online. I find it's easy to meet people and make connections that way. I am in a Facebook group, and I did submit a few tapes that way. And I mean, these are, I think, where they should be extra supplemental ways to meet people. It's become the primary way, kind of. It's like texting and phone calls. I always feel like you should always talk, and texting is just a bonus. But people don't see it that way anymore at all.
No, you're right. There's a secret I want to tell you off the air, but I won't give out my secret on the air. But I used to message people on LinkedIn. I still do. I network on LinkedIn, Facebook, sometimes Instagram, but I'm recently networking on TikTok. Now, the problem with TikTok is obviously you have to do your homework, because anyone can pretend to be someone you're not. Unfortunately, I fall under that category, and that pisses me off because I've been doing this for 10 and a half years. After 1,078 episodes, people still think this is a scam. But on TikTok, you may find someone, oh, wow, this person is very interesting. Or I want to like this person. Or on Facebook, for that matter, when they say, hey, join this free live, and you're in a chat with other people. So you introduce yourself, obviously. Then people message you, say, I'm interested in working with you. I had this one guy, complete idiot, on the show because he lied to me. He said, yeah, well, I'm an upcoming actor. I'm doing this. I'm in the entertainment world. Okay, well, I have index cards of questions for actors and producers. Let me ask you, what do you do? Well, I'm a writer. Oh, great. I'm a director. Okay. And you're an actor. Great. I have so many questions I'd like to ask you. Got the guy on the show. Tell us a little about yourself. Yeah, I don't do any of that. I'm not an actor. I'm not a writer. So it's kind of like, so you lied, right? You lied to me to get on the show. And when you get on the show, you just pull the curtain out and then you say, you said whatever you had to. It's like one of those people that lie for interviews. You say what sounds good, and when you figure out you can bullshit your way into an interview, then you say, yeah, I'm not really a manager. I was kind of a manager. Have you seen that in the entertainment world? People just pretend to put a good mask on, and at the end, once you finally beat that person, it's kind of like, who's this person? Who moved the rock?
I guess I'm kind of guilty, not so much, of what he did being dishonest. I'd use the word pending for myself. I started to write a screenplay. I haven't obviously finished it yet. I'm nowhere near finishing it. I started to act, and I took a little break now, and I'm trying to get back into it. So I'm a pending actress and writer.
Oh, well, that wasn't directed at you, and I do apologize.
No, I wasn't thinking that at all. I was just saying, I know it's not too common when you find someone my age who's first starting out. I'm close to 50 now, but it's never too late, I don't think.
No, absolutely not. It's just a number.
I mean, I know years ago they would have said that. Yeah. but now it's different. Things are different now. People don't look their age. People don't act their age, and yeah.
No, but that's not what
Ever-changing.
that's not the point I was trying to make. The point is, if you make a profile, he's saying you're an actor, director, writer, and someone wants to say, okay, I came across your profile, I like what I saw, but when you get on the show, it's like, yeah, that profile, I just made it up, it's fake. So that's why when I message people, I'm like, hey, I saw you were this, and you're like, yes, I am actually an actor and writer and other things. Then that makes it stand stencil. If you're just gonna randomly throw stuff out there, and okay, I'm guilty of that too. I would say I was trained as a supervisor. You know, I was trained as a supervisor, but I wasn't officially. I never had that title of supervisor, but I worked in that category. So that's not a lie. A lie is saying you're an actor. When they ask you what is your acting experience, you're like, I don't have anything. It's kind of, you know what I mean? It's kind of, which one is it? You said you're an actor, but then you're not really an actor. But anyway, that's, you know, how people are.
You could be an actor playing the role of someone who really has it, you know? In his mind. I honestly don't know, but that's probably what he's thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next question I want to ask you, you mentioned that you're 50 years old, and yeah, I take my hat off to you.
Actually, I'm 49. I'm going to be 50 next November.
Oh, happy early birthday.
Thank you. Kind of far away. I'm 49.
It's just a number. It doesn't mean anything.
No, it definitely does not. I've learned in my entire life, never go by age. Everything is relative. I could have my best friends 20 years younger, 20 years older. It never made a difference. Everyone's different.
Absolutely right. As in one question, is there a way you can move the camera so it's you're out of focus?
I feel it now. I'm slipping sideways to you. You got me back?
Yep, back. So the next question I want to ask you, a reason I brought up your age, is what attracted you to start your career at this point in time?
Okay, that's actually a very good question. I was one of those people who was kind of naturally born a math geek. So that's where my strength lied in formulas and stuff like that. But I always had a passion to do something more creative. So I was like I was good in English and good in math. And I was trying to find a way to do something I really enjoyed. Well, that's a good question. Things that happened to me health-wise and stuff like that, I kind of revisited it later in life, you know, based on passion, I guess. You could use the word passion for that.
All right. And the other question I want to ask you is, what is the biggest challenge you want to make in your acting career?
That's a very broad question. Biggest, okay. You make it a little simpler than that. I'm not really sure.
What is the biggest change you want to make?
I had actually, that's interesting. I kind of want to tell my story. You know, I kind of want to use the medium to tell my own personal story. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had started writing something and I really want to get it out there that way. That would be great. That's a big change I'd want to make.
All right. Now, the next question I want to ask you is, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, I want you to be brutally honest. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what made you say yes? How do you feel now? And would you recommend it to other people?
Okay, the answer to the last one is definitely yes. I know I initially had said no, or I'll get back to you several times. I did the same thing with my on-camera acting coach. I'd taken this wonderful online class with him, and when he first approached me, I'm like, no, okay, maybe. And I'm like, okay, yes. That is a good question. At first I was trying to figure out who is he and where did he come from? Because like you said, with social media, I get approached a lot for a lot of things that are not all legitimate, and you know, you don't know that's not the real name. Well, I didn't like it could have been one of those things where you wanted to interview me and you didn't even actually have this set up, this network and stuff like that. So I did look on YouTube and I did think about it, and I'm wondering, you know, why am I saying no to this? There's no reason to say no.
Well, wrapping up, make sure to like and subscribe to the Keith Andrew Network. And until we meet again, happy holidays. Thank you, and have a good night. Bye.